and all of that. You don't know my happiness. You don't know my essence, my being, and all of that. I'm still my own man, my own woman. There's just a whole lot to the message, and I think it's one of the songs like this that truly endears me to Burna Boy. Anytime I hear, this one, Bank on It, and there's this other one, Way Something Something. It's like, he's amazing. He deserves all the Grammy, all the accolades, all the recognition, even though he's a little headstrong and he has his own issues. But then when it comes to his music, hey, he's amazing. And you are also amazing. Yes, you are. Look at you, staying tuned to 95.1 Nigeria Info, joining our conversation, listening and contributing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info, your passionate, trustworthy, conversational radio. And Abuja, this is where I welcome you to Hard Facts. It's intense, yes, because we set off looking at some of the big stories driving conversation, and half the time it's not always cupcake and rainbows, what's trending in the country, but it's our country. We're invested in it. And whatever it is you're talking about in your offices, at the market, at the newspaper stands, in your head when you're having your internal dialogue, if you can leave your own problem for 1 minute and focus on the big picture, then these are the stories we talk about. And we always come with an analyst to join us today. And one analyst who hasn't been on the show for a very, very long time. And I know a lot of people have been asking, where is he? Where is he? We haven't heard from this comrade. As a matter of fact, when Aristotle died, the Aristotle, who is more of the electoral amendment campaigner and the likes, Dari, that is. A lot of people are like, oh, is it this Aristotle? Like, there are two different Aristotles. As a matter of fact, I'm sure there are tons of Aristotles all over the place. They're all special and unique in their own way. We say, so rest in peace to Dari. But the Aristotle I'm talking about is Idowu Israel. And I know he hasn't been on the roundtable for a long time. And he'll be joining us today for the roundtable as our analyst. He does come with his own bit of flavor, but we're still going to be looking at big issues and big conversation on the show. So if you're ready, I'm ready. My name is Kimberly Machuku. Call me Kim. Call me the Oracle, the Digital Oracle. Call me the fellow OTF. Call me Madam Speaker. Call me Chanya, one of Nigeria Info, and I'll say yes. Even though someone said, Itodo and I have to go and meet the Ochidoma before we parade ourselves with this very glamorous title and all of that. If I'm ever privileged to stand before the Ochidoma, I am sure I would do the needful. But until then, I will go by the name with my full chest. All right, people, welcome to the roundtable. And yes, as I was speaking, my guest was his way in and joins us for the conversation. We have Aristotle Idowu Israel. Well, Aristotle is there. He's an alias. He's go by our name. He goes by it's Comrade Idowu Israel. You are welcome and delighted to have you join us on the roundtable today.
Good afternoon, Nigerians. Good afternoon, Nigeria Info. Good afternoon, everywhere you are listening to us. It's glad to be back here, though I have a very short notice to be here, but the national opprobrium of why Aristotle has not been on Nigerian Info because of his academic interest has been
Aristotle has been very busy. He's a man about the books. He's been studying. What would you end up with? A PhD somewhere down the road?
When I learned that I'm supposed to be here today, and I see what Nigeria is bringing up for us with what we call a renewed hope, I have to be here because I think it's high time that intellectualism will work, and probably people that are reading books, people that are going to school may probably have their say, because before, people that are having their ways don't normally go to school.
There's a new look to you, Aristotle. I don't know, it's the glasses. Maybe it's this academic pursuit. You look professorial. It just feels like maybe I should take away the comrade and leave you with professor. But
no, I don't know. It's one of those few names that people attributed to me, you understand. In some areas, people call me Google, some people call me Aristotle, people call me Prof, but I've not even gone to that stage. But what we've been able to do is that we've been able to impact positively, you understand, in letting people know what they don't know, because you cannot live without, well, you understand, you cannot live without having an impact in what is happening in your immediate environment, and you are trying to prove that you are knowledgeable.
All right, then. So let's get started. There's so much going on. We'll look at some of the stories. And this particular one is generating tons of reactions already. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has asked the House of Representatives to amend the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act to provide 500 billion naira to fund palliative measures against the impact of fuel subsidy removal. The request was conveyed in a letter read by the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, during the plenary yesterday. Now, President Tinubu is seeking to extract 500 billion naira from the supplementary budget, and former President Buhari had introduced the supplementary budget in 2022 for capital projects due to the impact of flood on farmland and road infrastructure. And the lifespan of the budget has since been extended to the 31st of December. Now, the sum of the 500 billion naira has been extracted from the 2022 supplementary budget of 819 billion for the provision of palliative, and he says he hopes the House will consider this request expeditiously, the president wrote, and it is something that the House will deliberate on today. And why it's been generating a lot of reaction, we see groups like the Center for Social Justice, they've raised concern over the president's request. Ekpa, the lead director, in a statement wrote that the House of Representatives request for this supplementary budget to provide palliative to Nigeria over subsidy removal impact. In reaction, he said the request is neither transparent nor accountable and unconstitutional. Noted that Nigerians need a long-term approach to solving fiscal challenges rather than ad hoc measures. The group urged that the National Assembly request specific detail of what the 500 billion loan request will be. The NLC TUC also is favorably disposed to this. As a matter of fact, they have protested it in their own way. Here we see that the Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress have turned down the 500 billion naira palliative proposed by the president, stating that it is grossly inadequate to assuage the hardship confronting workers sequel to the subsidy removal. So it isn't as if they're saying, no, we don't need a subsidy, palliative of any nature, but they're saying 500 billion, how far can that go? What can they do? What can they do with that money? They are demanding 300% salary increase to enable workers to cope with the challenges imposed by the deteriorating economic situation that came with the removal of the subsidy. And we've seen pockets of other people who are asking detail. What exactly, Mr. President, with this money, what kind of palliative are we looking at? The last time we got a loan from the World Bank under the last administration, it was for social intervention, and there's no detail just yet as to what this 500 billion naira is going to be used for precisely, enough for people to know if it's worth the trouble or not. But, comrade, you do agree that to a certain level, people do need palliative, because some people are going through excruciating pain and hardship as a result of the removal of subsidy.
The most pertinent of the excruciating pain is my ability to have to meander my way to shortcut my spending to get here. So I'm equally part of the Nigerians.
And we
are all experiencing the excruciating pain, you understand, that is inflicted on us by the sudden removal of the subsidy. But if we must confess, there is something I always say here, that Aristotle says that is always predominant in everything I do, or whatever I try to argue on or think about or work on, that the predictive ability of the world's intellectual state to study the past and the present in order to lay a predictive emphasis on the future is the most fundamental basis of humanistic embodiment. What am I trying to say? Meaning, if any form of governance realizes that this basis is to be followed fundamentally, I think presently, let me welcome Nigerians to what I can call a factory reset.
A factory reset?
We're on a factory reset.
Okay. Where did they reset?
The country is on a factory reset because in the last 2 months of this new administration, we've had decisions that have not been made by other governments in the past.
Okay.
And even when we believe they have the aura, the charisma, the dexterity to do it, they've been unable to do that. And in a period of few months, it's not even up to 2 months. I don't think this government is up to 2 months. I think the most fundamental thing he has just done is first to remove the subsidy. And as an investigative journalist, while I was trying to dabble into what might necessitate or what might warrant him to take such a bold step, I equally realized that the two other prominent candidates, including the one that
went for the removal of subsidy,
went for the removal of subsidy because everybody realized that subsidy has been a fraud.
So it was some sort of a national consensus, say for some lone voices who were saying, guys, subsidy removal is not to interrogate other aspects. But it felt like a national consensus to a certain degree that a lot of people felt,
so number one,
inclined to thinking that removing it was better.
Having a president that can take the bold step of doing that without having to relate, without having to seek advice, without having to think of what people will feel about is that, number one, I think we're having a president taking a bold step. Number two, what this man has done in the last 2 months of this administration were steps that have, like I've told you, is a factory reset. You have parastatals, ministries, agencies, about 150 of them. It dissolved all.
The board.
All the boards.
Among them, yeah.
Which has about 3,000 people that year in, year out, government in, government out, from 1999 up to date.
No, but there are quite a number of them that their people have been changed. Yes, one government comes on board and this change are affected.
With me that it has never been resetted in this manner, where everybody will remove at once without caring whose us is God. You understand? And the removal of the security chiefs, the electricity bill, you understand? But the most important thing that borders on Nigerians, which concerns all and sundry, including me, that made me got here 10 minutes before timing because I have to meander my ways to shortcut what I'm going to spend to get here. You understand? It's really bothering. And the 500 palliative team.
Now back to the matter exactly, because if you're making that request, and we know that 800 billion request has gone ahead of him from the last administration, which was approved. What is this one going to be used for? And NLC is saying, what exactly do you want to do with 500 billion naira?
No. From what we've been able to know, I think Nigerians need to have a full understanding of what is currently happening in the country. Like I said, we have a factory reset. And if this new administration is expected to do anything meaningful, practical, pragmatic, legal, legislative, and official, it has to go through the normal processes. And what are the normal processes? The constitutionality of the National Assembly. Because whatever the president has to do has to go through a constitutional process of going through the assembly. And the assembly has to be constituted. And I think in the last 1 week, we have a new National Assembly.
We've had it since June. Enough time for whatever needs to be set in motion to be set in motion. Now
the assembly now made us to realize that they have to constitute their own leadership. You understand? These are processes that takes time. They are legislative processes, and all these things are what is regimented as bureaucratic measures, which takes time.
The palliative matter. Are you okay? Let's go on a quick break.
School before I think of what to do with my life.
Exactly. I am going to.
Connection. 'Cause 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 is Nigeria Info.
Table, we're talking with Comrade Idowu Israel, popularly called Aristotle. Khalifa Ebukwo, we see you on YouTube. It says he's looking like a super professor. Good afternoon. And Lawal Mohammed says, my ever-able Kim, good afternoon and welcome to the Roundtable. Thank you, Lawal. Anas Al-Magbul. Kim, well done. Thank you very much. Yes, we are on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. We're also on Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja. You can leave your thought, you can leave your comment as we review some of the big stories. We're still on the subsidy removal. President Tinubu writes to Rep 500 billion for palliative. And so far we've heard reaction of people who are feeling that nope, like the NLC. They don't think it's adequate enough. They're requesting a 300% increase in salary. Now, is that a better call to some sort of palliative? And how many people work in a formal setting enough for you to say the critical chunk of the population will benefit from it at the end of the day? We're dealing with poverty and multidimensional poverty, and a lot of people are trapped in that poverty bracket where they don't fit into the structure where they earn pay at the end of the month. How do we ensure NLC, TUC, even though they speak for their members, that we have, the people who absolutely need the support getting it with their own request? Their subsidy isn't the better alternative. But then what is this subsidy? What do they intend to do with the 500 billion naira? It's an important question to ask, because Nigerians will be wary if they hear, okay, it's another social intervention program where there's very little transparency and accountability as to how the money is expended in the first instance. So, Aristotle, you were taking us back to the National Assembly as to the procedure of all of this. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Prior to 2015, we have a government that is not like responsive to government, and people felt in 2015, let us change it, let us have a different form of doing things. And down the lane, after 8 years, everybody was like, APC should never happen to Nigeria again. But now a personality coming, an individual comes in, and some people are like, this is APC, a party, and this is an individual, a Bola Tinubu, and in within a twinkling of an eye, in like 1 week, we saw a phantasmagoria or an effusive hints of, you understand, things that will tickle the mindset of the people that are now feeling, yes, where it's like we're having a president that will do what we need to do. But like I said earlier, the other two major aspirants, candidates that ought to have been there, if Tinubu had not been there, had always been advocates of removal of subsidy, believing that it's a conduit pipe, you understand, to wink and browbeat our national treasury. And you have someone that just come in and remove it, hook, line, and sinker, without consulting, without doing, and that's why you have some other sections of the people are saying, yes, even if they agree with the fact that he removed it, which is good for us because it's going to block a huge loophole of where they are siphoning our money. What are the things he is doing, you understand, or what are the logistics he has put in place, you understand, to mediate, to palliate, to ensure that what happened to us during lockdown did not happen to us, you understand, because we always have a government that will come with stereocomic approach of trying to do things, making it look worthy, making it look, you understand, clappable. And by the time they are going through the logistics, by the time they are telling you what it entails, you understand, to go through it, you now see that it is even more, you understand, more serious in actualizing. And that is what is happening about this 500 billion of it, because so many people have been asking questions that, yes, you have removed the what do you call
Palliative.
You have removed the subsidy, which everybody have been saying no other president can do. But what have you done to palliate it? Did you put measures in place to do it? Now you are now telling us that we have to go through the process. And what are the processes? We have to constitute the National Assembly. You have to send your proposals. Now, the 500 billion. that you are talking about. As I'm coming here, I got to realize that the 500 billion is not part of what Tinubu is going to borrow anew or afresh from it's
part of the supplementary budget.
Part of the supplementary budget of the last administration that we are supposed to spend for 203 to 222 2022 to 2023 out of the 819 billion. You are taking 500 billion out of it. Now the question is, how many people does this affect? You understand, pragmatically and efficaciously, when you have less than 10% of the populace benefiting directly as civil servants, as national workers or state workers, that will share whatever you are sharing through whatever means of sharing, and you have about 70%.
We don't even know if the workers are the ones going to benefit from this, because right now they haven't even given any detail as to what it's used for.
So what I'm equally saying is that even if the projections, even if the intentions, even if whatever the new administration is about to do, you understand, is going to be beneficial to us, they have not done enough, you understand, to explain to us the percentage of the populace that will benefit from this and how it will extend to the larger percentage of the populace. Because how many people works under the government? Like you are saying, we don't even have details of who will benefit from the 500 billion. How are they going to spend the 500 billion? We are hearing speculations that somebody that is in Krimanje is already saying that a particular amount that is that same amount is being given every month for poverty alleviation for a period of years, and you are coming in and you are offering Nigeria 500 billion. I think it's laughable. It's laughable. I'm a Yoruba man. I don't support. I'm sorry to say this on air, but I must say it. You understand? I am part of those that believe that we must have a change of the way we are doing things, and I know that political parties have their ways and manners of ensuring that they get to wherever they want to get to. So I will agree as a Nigerian in obedience with the fact that we have a constitution here, and I don't have to be treasonable, and I don't even have anything to say contrary to the fact that we have a process that has produced a president, though the matter is still contestable in court. But we are seeing processes that are seen to be efficacious, to be pragmatic, to look like something but what are we doing to palliate? It is the palliative. People are hungry. People are suffering.
Now saying, sir, let's take 500 billion.
That is where I'm going.
Palliate.
So how can you palliate? How can you palliate Nigeria with 5 billion? So I think it's a laughing stock. Even if, yes, I agree with the fact that this will be presented to the House today, and
we'll debate on it today.
Debate on it, and I know that probably it will be sent to the Red Chamber. The Red Chamber will expedite action on it. But like you said, what can 500 billion do to 200 million people?
Well, it's NLC that is saying it, actually. They're the ones who are questioning how much that can go.
How are they going to share the 500 billion to reach us? Are they going to... Do you know what people are asking me?
But the thing is, what do we need? What would be acceptable to the average Nigerian as palliative enough? Is it better transport network? I know, looking at state like Borno State, buses provided for workers to ferry them from one end to the other and all of that. You start to ask, what would the government really do? Enough for Nigerians to say, okay, palliative is cushion the suffering a little for us while we adjust to this current reality. Would it be buses? Would it be, one way or the other, government need to spend money to cushion the effect for the average Nigerian, since we're dealing with a lot of people.
You used cushioning effect, and when you say cushioning effect, it's even more prerogative than palliative, because palliative is segmental. Palliative is sectional to the fact that, okay, yes, one of the first things that oppositions of this new government will say is that the increment of legislators by 114% and all sorts, without taking care of the real civil servants that are even less than 10% of the population. Now you are talking of the entire... So What is 500 billion going to do? So I think even if the president, even if the presidency, even if the government is hooking us onto the premise of the fact that we need to have established structures like the National Assembly to approve whatever projections they are making, I think it's laughable for 500 billion to take care of Nigeria, because in fact, because the government,
your mic, Aristotle,
the government equally need to let us know which part of the populace is the 500 billion directed at. Is it the civil service? Is it to reduce the fuel price? Is it you are saying Borno State? What, look at Lagos now. Lagos has 18 million people. So if you have palliative transport measures that can only take care of Ikeja axis, the red and the blue lanes of Lagos, which I'm well acquainted with, I think it's not up to 10 million. I think it's not up to 50% of the people. And if you are talking of Abuja here, how many people use Air-Rufai buses except people that navigate area 1, area 2, area 10? What of the people that lives in the you understand, the outskirts of the city that will have to spend extremely, like me, to get to town, to navigate town? So I think yes, I am not condemning.
But do we agree that there's a need for a palliative?
There is a need. In fact, there is not just a need for palliative, but there is a need for an increment in the palliative. There is a need for extension of the palliative to other section of the community, of the nation, not just because 500 billion, like you've just said, even as they are sending it there, we are not even aware if it's just going to take care of transport mayors or civil servants at federal level, or it will be extended to state, or it will take care of. Yes, we are aware that borders are being opened. We are aware that things are coming to happen, but equally, they are equally telling us that we have to wait till structures are put in place, which truly we need those structures to be effectively put in place. But like you equally said, the last administration, knowing quite well that it has failed woefully, made something proactive. The measure is not enough to take care of the passion of the Nigerians that expected. Those ones should not be taken serious. You know, the lives of Nigerians it's a composition of work with.
I mean, so boring.
If I demand for review of their own, about percent of the type of that I do some capacities of IPPIS that will pay you 80,000 this week, pay you 23,000 next month, pay you 10,000 the following month, and nobody is regulating that. And last month, everybody was like so expectant.
I hear that they are interrogating IPPIS.
Yes, I'm already aware that they are putting measures in place, but the fact remains that Nigerians are insatiable, and we cannot sit here and while we will be clapping, while we will be appreciating, eulogizing the government for going the right way, the right steps, by making sure that they are trying to put the right pegs in the right holes, by ensuring that the factory reset our systems, our policies, by ensuring they should equally provide for what will make an average Nigerian say yes. This government is not only because you know what you are telling me now. You are now making it prerogative for National Assembly members.
I am not. So I am just saying that they are Nigerians, and they're also saying that they are feeling the brunt of the fuel subsidy.
They are not bringing the George Orwell factor that some animals are equal and all animals are equal, but some are more
equal than others. Yeah.
So they are now telling us that if their own prerogatives are not taken care of, the larger percentage of Nigerians will not be palliated, and that will be ridiculous. To even if, let me say, because I've been hearing some of them, even as I'm talking, as I'm coming inside the vehicle here, some of them are saying, yes, we don't vote for him, we don't even want him to be president, but what he has been trying to do, he ought to have. So the ought to have, I think what I'm saying here is for him to concentrate more on the ought to have, not what the established structures have been benefiting prior to his ascension, because I think what he promised us, what we have then was change. We have what we call a renewed hope. And if you are saying you have a renewed hope, a government that has given a student loan that some people are saying is very, very precarious and very hard to access, though I ask them, are you students when you don't have to take the money?
But
you understand?
They are guardians and parents of students.
They have been finding reasons, you understand, to truncate or alter whatever intentions. Right. You understand? Even the electricity bill.
In conclusion, Aristotle, so I'll move on to the next story.
In conclusion, I think government needs to look more inward. 500 billion to take care of Nigeria is a child's play. Right. And the government should come out plain by telling us what the 500 billion, which section of the country it will take care of, and tell us the next time the president will send a larger perspective that will take care of the larger section of the populace. Right. Then we can clap for the president and the new government.
Thompson from Gariki is watching on Facebook. It says he sees me for the first time. Good to know, Thompson. Always log on. We're on every day. Clem says, good afternoon to you, Digital Oracle. And guess how is work going? Keep the good work on. Thank you very much, sir. He commented on the next story. Emefiele should not be released but charged to court. And Collins Nwabua says Emefiele should be charged to court. Adams Adejo Atabo says the government seemed to be circumventing ground. Same point, because this huge amount is almost what he told us. They spent in 6 months on subsidy. So nothing has changed. Sharing of this humongous amount will not be transparent because we don't have credible database. Instead, they should use this 500 billion on subsidy till December. Then when Dangote refinery would have started. That's what he thinks the solution is. Well, let's move on to a story that they already touched on. And the court is giving the DSS 7 days to release Emefiele. Abuja High Court, sitting at Maitama on Thursday, ordered the Department of State Services, DSS, to within 7 days release the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, from detention or charge him to court. The court, in a judgment that was delivered by Justice Hamza Muazu, held that Emefiele's continued detention without trial amounts to a gross violation of his fundamental human right. And Justice Muazu held that the Nigerian constitution was founded on the rule of law, which he said presupposed that everything must be done according to the law. Detention, no matter how small, can amount to a breach of fundamental rights, the court held. Adding that since allegation against this embattled suspended CBN governor contained bailable offences, the DSS ought to grant him administrative bail pending his prosecution. Nevertheless, the court said there were evidence before it to show that there was an order from an Abuja Chief Magistrate Court that permitted the security agency to detain Emefiele for a period of 14 days to enable it conclude its investigation. It held that Emefiele did not establish that his arrest, detention and investigation was unlawful since it was based on valid court order. Describing the DSS as a reputable institution mandated to guarantee internal security of the country, Justice Muazu said it must conduct its operation with strict adherence to provision of the Constitution. Although I sympathize with the applicant, Emefiele, but my sentiment will not go far to deliver judgment by granting all the relief sought by the applicant. The applicant has not shown that his arrest, detention and investigation were unlawful. But the judge is saying you can hold him beyond a certain period of time. So within 7 days, they are required to release Emefiele. They've ordered them to release the suspended CBN governor from detention or charge him to court. Now, we always get a case where the DSS will hold on to individuals for a lengthy period of time and cases are not charged to court. They're still putting themselves together. We saw it from the Dasuki to quite a number of these cases where it feels like it's stalled for a long period of time. And the DSS has been on about Emefiele for even before he was picked up. I mean, a tent was made. They went to court. It was thrown out to get warrants to pick him up at that point. They alleged that he was funding terrorism. There was also the concern as to how, monies were managed under his watch. Why is it stalling? I mean, why isn't the case charged already? Why just detain him arbitrarily for this length of time? And we haven't seen progress because people are asking, how far with Emefiele? How far?
Thank you very much. I think one of the factory reset process that I said the new administration has put in place that we cannot totally discard is working here, because this is probably the first time we're having, you understand, a full investigation and a full arrest and prosecution of people that have worked with the past administration. And in the case of Emefiele, I think it's more humongous because I was even part of the civil rights activists that led the protest for his arrest until DSS even gave us a support. I want to tell you here, that in that last administration, DSS gave us support. Police gave us, with the National Youth Council of Nigeria, police gave us police permit, DSS gave us support, but the army, the Nigeria army, led by Colonel Irabo, as at that time, prevented us from, you understand, protesting to that place, because as at that time, the things that were, the accusations against Emefiele was becoming Mephistophelian. There was a time he wanted to Mephistophelian. He was becoming a devil, a god, a Lucifer on himself, because as at that time he wanted to contest for president. We saw vehicles that went viral where he was said to have purchased vehicles until the president called him to Daura. Then you hear about the money, the what do you call it? The changing of the money. What do you call? There is one word that they use for our money. Well, that time when they changed
redesign.
Money naira redesign. And if you are following events as an investigative journalist, I think the Emefiele, Bawa and Mele Kyari arrest and the prosecution of Malami, you understand, have similar reasons that will make the security operatives not to have released him yet, because I think when it was only Bawa, from what we heard from the DFCC, that he was moved to a private facility because he has refused, you understand, to make a written statement, but he has confessed that contrary to what Emefiele said, that it was Bawa, the then EFCC chairman, that raised the memo for the Naira redesign against, you understand, as in what transpired prior to the exit of this administration, that they are all compliant to it. So I think we cannot, or we must not, or we should not use legal whims and caprices to hoodwink or browbeat Nigerians into evading justice. I think Emefiele, people have given him sort of names. In fact, some people will tell you that may Emefiele ever happen to us again.
But is it just him? I mean, he was getting directive also. Yeah, he was a CBN governor. However, we see also how he has responded to the body language of the, Oga at the top at that point in time. So it feels like, can you actually single Emefiele out without also pointing fingers high up?
Oracle, Yoruba used to say, they made you king. You are now doing awure. You know what is called awure? Awure is that kind of ablutions, that kind of aboruboye that is trending on this thing that Tope Alabi is doing, that you now do to God, that okay, you are a king and you are still doing ablutions to God. Do you want to become God? So Emefiele has grown, has risen to the peak of what he should do to even make Nigeria an egalitarian state, but he decided to be Mephistophelian. I'm still using that word.
All right.
So I don't think I want to agree with the Uriwa and other lawyers and other human rights activists that are saying that whatever judgment Emefiele is getting out of ecumenical hoodwinking of the judiciary to get him why would they release Emefiele? Emefiele has so many questions to answer.
Then charge him to court. Charge him to court. The DSS has been alleging for days. Charge him to court. Let's get things moving.
There are some cases that are even more than charging to court. Like that case of a woman in the Bible that gave birth to a baby, and the two of them has to come to a king, and the king now asks that, okay, you are claiming is your child, the other one is claiming, okay, what do we do? Let us cut the children, the child into half. You take one. The other one is saying, no, don't do it for the other. You understand what I'm trying to say here is,
to complete the story, the other one say cut it into half. The other one says, no, don't cut my child into half. For Emefiele lawyers, I think what we don't have here,
I don't want to use that word again. You have corrected me from using Senate claims. You understand? Because in same claims, I think it's very difficult for you to see lawyers, for you to see legal luminaries coming to the aids of people that has casted aspersion on humanistic embodiment. You understand, of this nature, and defending them and still trying to get justice for them. I think people like Emefiele ought not just to be released. You understand? Everything he has hoodwinked and branded from the country should be taken from him. I don't want to recommend because I'm an activist and I am an humanitarian activist, so I don't recommend what you call there is this last word that they use for when they want to kill people.
No, let's not talk about killing people just yet.
You understand? Some people will tell you that, you understand, such persons, but we don't have that culture here. So I think so in conclusion, the Emefiele thing is a diversion, a digression, and a disillusionment of the system. And this current system should not allow the judiciary to be used, you understand, to trespass this justice.
Okay.
Emefiele must face
we're not going
justice.
to undermine the judiciary, because their position is also very legit. Charge him to court or release him while you continue your investigation.
No.
It sounds logical.
To the uninitiated, some people were trying to argue with me 2 days or 3 days ago that the arrested DCP Abba has been released because
he has been granted bail.
He has been granted bail on just one can't charge out of the other can't charges. But the media popularized that one and made it look like, has he actually been granted bail? Is he not still in that facility? He's still there because he has other charges. So if Emefiele lawyers can, because of the kleptomaniac ways that they have been equipped.
Okay, let's not cast aspersion on their lawyers just yet. Thank you very much,
understand? To grant him that reprieve, I think they should look to the other ones, which are more grievous and which are sins against humanity, and he must answer for it. So I think Emefiele should be there, should remain there until he answers questions that he must answer. And
Olamide Kolade seems to agree with you. Says the opinion the court should allow security agents to take their time to investigate Emefiele and others due to their involvement of the abuse of office.
Yes.
And Emefiele, someone, Moses Oboji, says, rot in jail in the street of Nigeria. He would not be forgiven in a hurry. Why? All right. If you say so. Let's hear some thoughts before the news. 0700 951 0000, or you can call 0809 5974869 or call via WhatsApp on 0809 9930137. Hello.
Hello. Ian.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jerry.
Come, Jerry.
Yeah. My take is on Palliative. To me, we have come up from a subsidy time, enter into Palliative. As our guest said, the Palliative have happened before and it failed. The second corruption of this subsidy is Palliative. The Palliative must not be money cash to give Nigeria or to buy this business. Federal government supposed to put refinery in order. Even if a modular refinery does not take 6 months to build. You understand? There is something supposed to be on ground before removing of subsidy. Me, I used to say that Mohammed Buhari faced trap to Tinubu, and Tinubu fall into it. Tinubu was supposed to mention that subsidy immediately on a state. He's supposed to go down, negotiate with the rebels, bring many things on ground, like all those transport and all those modular refineries, before he begins to announce that subsidy has gone. It's one of the greatest mistakes that man has done to Nigeria, and it's not good.
All right.
All of them are the same thing, both everybody, all of them and APC, and I believe they will not do him anything.
All right.
Like other ones.
Thank you very much. You believe your opinion. All right. Hello.
Hello, Kim. How are you?
I'm all right. Good afternoon.
Okay. My name is Jafar.
Welcome, Jafaru.
Okay. As far as the court is concerned and the DSS are concerned, the DSS should go ahead and appeal what the court has said. They should keep Emefiele for perpetuity. This guy has committed crime against this very country. They should keep him forever in that very place. That is one. Then the second issue is that they are talking about removing subsidy. But up to now, nobody is talking about fixing up the refinery. Please, we want to know whether the purported sale of the refinery then, as of 2007, is legitimate or not. Because nobody is talking about fixing the refinery. The presidency is silent. Nobody is talking about is the purported sale at 2007 happen to be legitimate or not. If you want refineries, they are talking government do not have business in business. Can't you go and find money and put your refinery? You don't go get money from government. Why do people have to buy government refinery or government property and talk that government do not have government in this state? You should not buy government property. Go and fix get your money and fix your refinery.
All right.
Never got one kobo from government.
All right. Well, you might want to think that one through. He got tons of support from the government. He got grants, he got input, he got financial commitment. So, just so that you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Prof. Aristotle, Happy New Year, sir.
Good afternoon.
Long time.
Glad to be back here again.
Yeah, thank you. We enjoy your analysis. Yeah, Kim, on the issue of Emefiele.
You have a minute to make your contribution. We have to go for the news.
I know. Yes. I think the DSS still need to hold him down. Nigeria really suffer under his Naira design. And it shouldn't be like that. He has a question to answer. I've said it before. Emefiele should be questioned. This new Naira design, we are not even seeing it in circulation. How much have you spent on that thing? What is the volume of the Naira note in the country? He has to tell us where are the monies, because they really use public funds to run these things. So he has to answer query among any other man. If DSS want to delay in detaining, they should continue. He has already abused our own human rights. My father nearly died because of that issue.
Sorry about that. I'm glad he didn't. And we'll continue the conversation after the news. Aristotle Idowu Israel is still pretty much here with us from now till 4:30. Still with 95.1 Nigeria Info.